Good morning from the Horseshoe. Game number 3 for Ohio State coming up at noon against Marshall. These are the pregame keys on the podcast. That is Jeremy Birmingham. I am Austin Ward. Cut right to the chase with the availability report. One post-improvement week edition, and it's a pretty notable one. Tyleik Williams will not play for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, as usual, we're not entirely sure why. You guys didn't notice anything with Tyleik on Wednesday night, but one area that I think Ohio State feels pretty confident in right now is its depth on the defensive line, defensive tackle. There's been a lot of discussion with Ryan Day earlier this week about who's the next guy up there, and now we're going to find out because Hero Kanu, Caden McDonald, Jason Moore, and Taiwan Malone have all played a lot in the first couple weeks, and now we'll see which guy gets the most reps today. But not ideal coming off of an off week, obviously, but again, that's an area where Ohio State has plenty of depth.
Yeah, we talked on Tuesday, in fact, that Ryan Day brought up Will Smith's name in that group as well. So clearly, Ohio State have been preparing for not just to use the depth, but playing some other guys today against Marshall. So big opportunity there. I think Caden McDonald, especially, he's someone that just right about this time a year ago, it's like this guy's practice habits are at another level. Look out for him. He started getting a few reps here and there. He played on offense in the Cotton Bowl. Tells you about what Ohio State thinks about his athleticism. So he's taken that next step, and I think that's the one really to watch today.
Yeah, I mean, without question. You have a lot of options on the defensive line. Caden McDonald's the one, to me, who I would expect to see to get the most reps, but we'll see. Depends on what Marshall does. They like to move their quarterback a lot, so it could be a rotation that's going to be very hot in the Horseshoe today. So I think you'll see a lot of guys in and out. I don't know that we'll see one guy who plays the majority of those Tyleik Williams snaps, which obviously Tyleik plays a lot of snaps for Ohio State. So big opportunity for someone to get a moment and make a moment. So.
Still have Ty Hamilton. He'll play a lot of those snaps, but nobody else, two walk-ons. That's the rest of the availability report. So Ohio State, they are healthier than when they went into it. Cody Simon is full go. Donovan Jackson is going to return today at noon for Ohio State against Marshall. So, it feels weird to say when you're going to be missing such a key starter like Tyleik Williams, but Ohio State still remains very healthy overall.
Yep, and that's what you have to get out of today that way. That's the key as you head into Big Ten play. So, for me, first key today, other than staying healthy, which I think is a key every week, right? That seems like it should be. If it's not, America, make sure that that's your personal key every week. Get healthy and get out alive.
Sometimes you can't control that.
Yeah, but if you can, do it. I recommend that. Marshall is a team that can do something. They've got a couple guys on offense that, I'm not going to say they scare Ohio State, but they at least have your attention on them. Christian Fitzpatrick at wide receiver is one. AJ Turner, is it AJ Turner at running back? AJ something. I talked about him on Bold Predictions and his 16 yards of carry that he's having this year. Don't miss tackles. And that, I guess, to me, that's the one area where when you're coming off of an improvement week or an off week or whatever the hell you want to call it, maybe you get a little contact shy. And that they have guys that can take it to the house if you let them. So tackle, wrap up. First guy that hits a guy has to get him down. So to me, that's key number one. I talked all week about Marshall having 18 missed tackles against Virginia Tech, but Ohio State has to be clean on that side of the game.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that for Ohio State, it's not about we get wrapped up in these fast starts and putting the game away early. I don't know that sounds weird to say it. It's not absolutely necessary that you blow out a team early, but I think that it's important for Ohio State to look crisp offensively. If not on the immediate first drive, by the second drive that you're starting to, because I think there may be, you brought up this point earlier in the week that I hadn't really considered. I know that this is the first game action for Donovan Jackson, but he's played so much. He's just going to go back out there and he's going to be Donovan Jackson and things look great. There may be a little adjustment period there for Seth McLaughlin, for Josh Simmons, even though you have a veteran. The communication part is going to be fine. I don't know. Going to handle the physicality again for Donovan Jackson. Is he ready from snap one? We'll see. There's no reason to really be skeptical about it as much football as he's played. It's just maybe it needs 5 minutes or 5 plays or, to get going. And I think it's more about what Chip Kelly is dialing up. I thought the Western Michigan script, especially with the RPOs and settling in with the passing game, really helped Ohio State. So that's the sort of thing that you're looking for. There may be something early on that's Donovan Jackson's remembering how to play again. Maybe there won't be.
Yeah.
But
it could be smooth. Who knows?
Yeah. But you look at that and it's as long as it doesn't take 3-4 drives or into the second quarter, that's no problem. I think once Ohio State gets rolling, it doesn't have to be the very first play or the very first drive every single time. That's not what we always mean by starting fast.
No.
As long as you are able to get up to speed relatively quickly. And even if you just miss on an opportunity on that first drive, it's not a touchdown or bust situation.
It's setting the tone early, and the tone that needs to be set is a clean game. It's not necessarily scoring, like Bill Landa said on Bold Predictions, 7 first half possessions, 7 first half touchdowns. That's not required to win a game. Now that helps.
It's not normal.
It helps, obviously, but it can't be penalties. It can't be false starts. It can't be holds on the interior line. Like, you don't want to give this Marshall team any chance to feel comfortable. And so Ohio State just needs to come out and play clean. I think that's what my point with your point is.
Yeah.
But I also want to make sure that Marshall feels pressure. Ohio State has 7 sacks in its first 2 games, or 8, 5 in week 1, 3 in week 2. This is a team that likes to extend plays. Stone Earl, their quarterback, is not a very good passer, but he is a guy that can make some things happen with his feet. So I think it's imperative that Ohio State force him to be uncomfortable early, whether that's blitzing from the linebacker spot or blitzing from Jordan Hancock. If you want to make sure that the defensive line is in there to contain, I think you have an opportunity to go after this guy. He will make mistakes if you get in his face. Ohio State has the ability to blitz from anywhere on the field. I'd like to see a little bit more, I don't want to say exotic stuff from Jim Knowles today, but I want to see them intentionally try to confuse a quarterback that's in his 3rd stop in 4 years of college football, and a guy that is prone to mistakes. So that to me is pressure.
Yeah, we've talked about sort of the ramp up in degree of difficulty and the way Ohio State's schedule is set up. The strange thing about Marshall is that the talent may be better than Western Michigan or Akron, but the matchup, I think, is a lot worse for the Thundering Herd. If you have limitations through the air, you're not going to have success against Ohio State's defense unless you're pretty much any pro. Like, no team, I think, is going to be able to move the ball with ease and put up points on the Buckeyes throughout the course of the year. This is the best defense in the country. But you are especially in for a world of hurt if you cannot throw the football.
Yeah,
and I don't think that they can. We'll see.
I don't know that they can run it either. Again, other than AJ, whatever his name is. AJ, my guy AJ. He's averaging 16 yards a carry, as I said, but he's only got 14 rushes on the season. So it's not like he's taking a heavy load of carries and is just thundering herd. He's not just running through and around people. He's just busted a couple big ones in each game. So I'm not sure that Marshall's offense does anything that's going to consistently affect Ohio State defensively, but to me, again, pressure the quarterback early, often, from everywhere.
You know what other phase of the game has to play clean, Berm?
The special teams.
Special teams. I know it sounds like a broken record, and it is at this point, but Ohio State needs to get this fixed for the bigger games. We spent the last 2 years talking about the special teams coordinator and the lack of explosive plays. To me, it's not even about the touchdown drought. It is about avoiding penalties. It is about lining up correctly. It is about making the correct blocks and decisions with the football on kickoff and punt return. I think Brandon Ennis is going to put the return game in a good position in both of those areas, but it is not just about that. There are a lot of things that Ohio State has done that have cost them yards, possessions, and games in the championship level. Like, that stuff has to be cleaned up, and you can see that it has been an emphasis for Ryan Day. And he's reshuffled the staff and the configuration, and he's moving things around with the personnel. That is all really encouraging stuff. But that doesn't mean that the work is done. They still have room to grow there. They should do that now, because you're about to go start Big Ten play in a week.
Yeah, and that's why I think today the most important thing for me, the third most important thing, my third key, is just a Will Howard experience that is building off the last 2 games. That maybe sounds vague or opaque, but Marshall is going to come at him a lot more aggressively than Western Michigan or Akron did, who were willing to play back and let Ohio State. Marshall is an aggressive team. They play fast on offense. They pressure the heck out of the quarterback on defense. They have 4 really good defensive linemen who can pressure on their own. They don't need to send linebackers. So Will Howard has been great in the first 2 games, getting out of pressure, sidestepping a blitz, etc. There's going to be a lot more of that today, and especially when you add in a new offensive lineman to the mix with Donovan Jackson and getting back into the flow of things. So it's about making quick, smart decisions for Will Howard, and he's going to be forced to do that. So as long as he does that early, the Buckeyes are going to run away with this game and win by 40 plus. Yeah. So, but if they can get to him early and rattle him and force him to maybe hurry some things along, which is not Will Howard's MO, then maybe this game feels a little different heading into the second half. But if he does what he's done the first 2 weeks, it's an easy win for us.
Yep, and until he proves otherwise, right? He's been very good against the blitz, and when facing pressure with the times that has come through, blitzing Ohio State has been a very bad idea, and you don't want to leave one-on-one opportunities for Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate, or anybody, though, these weapons that Ohio State has. So it's always about decision-making at quarterback. It's sometimes we forget because Will Howard has played so much football. This is game number 3 at Ohio State. They're still adding to the offense. Chip Kelly and Ryan Day are both doing that. So, it's about the evolution for Will Howard. I think that there's a lot of signs he's going to keep making those good decisions, but you don't know until the bullets actually start flying.
I mean, this is the biggest game in America today. Everyone knows it.
Yeah. Big noon kickoff said so.
Big noon kickoff is here. This is the most important game in the country.
It's the most important game for us.
And if you can't tell if you pull into campus today because it is a little sleepy this morning. So if you're watching this at home and checking it out before you head to the stadium, I ask you to please bring your juice.
BYOJ.
It's juiceless up in this big piece, this place.
Burb's got the juice, though. We are going to bring our own to the coverage of Ohio State and Marshall. Starts at noon. It is on Fox. After the game, of course, we'll have some press conference. We'll have the notebook later and some snap judgments breaking down whatever happens for Ohio State and Marshall. Last non-conference game of the year in the Horseshoe. Thanks so much for joining us on the Pregame Keys. This has been the podcast. He's Jeremy Birmingham. I'm Austin Ward. Enjoy the game, folks. See ya.